Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minion with me this evening is Adam,
Hello.
and of course, I'm the keeper for this night, Sanguine. How are you doing tonight, Adam?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself, sir?
I'm doing grand. I'm just enjoying an absolutely amazing dinner that I'm finishing up here. It is some shrimp that I seared off in a screaming hot cast iron skillet. Then I made a sauce of shoyu, some chili crisp, a bit of sake, and a little bit of cane sugar grated in. That then I cooked down into this nice thick sauce, added in some butter, made it nice and velvety, added in just a little bit of Kewpie mayo in order to thicken it just that little bit more. Toss the shrimp in. Oh my god, it's fantastic. That's served up on just a bowl of rice with some sake and asahi and a finger of whiskey. Really good
Yo.
shit, though.
Now, how long did all that take to cook up?
The rice was the longest part because
Oh
I
yeah.
rinsed my rice, then I soaked my rice for 30 minutes, and then I cook it, and it takes like 15 minutes to cook, but then I give it a post cook, just relax period of about 30 minutes. And I did everything else within that 30-minute. The rice is already done, just sitting there letting it steam the last bit. So it took less than 30 minutes because I was done with everything else before the rice was done in that 30-minute cool off.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, it is absolutely fantastic. The shrimp, beautifully cooked. The shoyu and chili crisp sauce that I made has the nice fattiness from the butter and the Kewpie. I added in a little bit of rice wine vinegar to bump up the acidity a little bit. It has the salty and umami qualities of the shoyu. Has the nice heat from the chili crisp, and then a slight bit of sweetness from the cane sugar as well as the sake. So just really well balanced. How about
Yo.
yourself? What have you been up to today?
oh. Today. Well, actually, I was gonna say. Listening to you explain what you cooked up just reminded me of the audience you captured at the motel over on
Yep.
Washington Island.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So is like I said, hey man, you gotta make some cards for that to to post it out there. Um, damn, that sounded pretty good.
Yeah, once
Uh,
everything quiets back down on my end, there's a bunch of things that I plan on starting up. One of them is I want to restart my cooking channel. Only I'll be doing it under the same moniker that I use for my cooking Twitter right now. And I just want to be able to get back to being able to do that type of shit. Also, I want to take a couple classes just to improve shit for myself. But just work and mandatory OT every week is really chewing up my time.
yo, yeah, it's been a funky bit of time recently.
Mm-hmm. It's
But
been over a year since mandatory OT started at my job.
wait, mandatory OT?
Yep, mandatory overtime. And the amount of mandatory overtime started at like 2 to 3 hours and then quickly jumped up to 6, and it has remained at 6 for most of that time.
Jeez. Hey, and actually, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier with you saving the lab and this being a bit, I don't know, am I being off-putting with the
I can talk about it. I'll just keep things a little bit vague. Won't go into details of which company or anything like that, but I can talk a little bit about that. There's just been a lot of stuff that has happened at the lab recently, and I'm functionally the only... Hold on one moment.
Oh.
Had a grain of rice tried to go down into my lung rather than into my stomach.
Wrong too.
Yep. So just need to quickly clean that out. But and hello, Plague Doc, how goes? The thing is that at work there's just been a bunch of situations pop up recently. We've been having trouble maintaining staffing. And due to that, I am the only fully trained full-time person on night shift, which makes things interesting to say the least. And then we've just had a bunch of ridiculous hiccups recently, various instruments crapping out, and if I wasn't there, then the lab would have damn near been shut down for a day, just because the only reason the lab was able to continue functioning was I was able to come up with a quick fix and get everything up and running again. And I was able to do that because I'm fully trained and I have experience working the job on my side. So, yeah, it was fairly dicey, and it's been really interesting time due to that.
Well, that's why I always say you should applaud the employee, the worker, who's willing to go above and beyond their position and do, they see the problem and it's I brought it up in a job interview. The fucking battle, which still the name escapes me, where it was the Romans fighting the...
Oh, are you talking the Romans versus the Carthaginians, or are you talking the...
Was it hold on, was it the Carthaginians or the Macedonians?
Are you talking about the time when a Spartan general was the thing that told the battle? Because there was...
I was thinking
Carthage
where
had a really good army and then got fucked over because its leadership was shit. So they ended up hiring a Spartan mercenary general. And their army just turned around overnight. Or are you talking about the Hoplite versus Legion?
Yeah,
battle?
The Hoplite Legion and
okay.
Opening of the Gap.
Yep. Seeing whether the manipular form of warfare or the full block of spear was the better tactic. Okay, I know which battle you're talking about. And yeah, that one was the Mesopotamian. Oh, not Mesopotamian, the Macedonian.
Was it Macedonian? Because I just that's the one. I remember it's early Roman, before they started going outside of the peninsula. But I can't remember if it was just Macedonian or if it was like a Thracian or not Thracian, but oh shit, I can't remember the name.
Let me quickly double check. I'm almost positive that was Macedonian. It was either Macedonian or Grecian.
Well, definitely one of the Hellenistic area type of peoples.
can't remember the name of the battle, so I'm also looking up that. Because there was a battle early on, and let's see, it was... Come on, where is the battle name?
They did. I guess Plague Doctor doesn't like us doing our history bits. They did name it. We just, just not really good on our namings and dates.
Okay, it was the battle that was the... So there's the Pyrrhic invasion, or the invasion of Pyrrhus,
Yep.
where the Romans fought against the... it was Pyrrhus, and then Carthage joined in as well, if I remember correctly, during that. Then it was the Romans invaded Macedon to fight Philip V. And it was during several times their armies met, and it was during that engagement, it was Rome versus Philip's phalanxes, and the main battle was at Senecapheles.
So, see, that's why I can't remember it, because it's a fucking Greek name.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you El Boyfriendo would be very upset that I can't. He'd probably be like, come on, it's very easy to say. Senecapheles. It's not.
Sorry, Senecaphelia
Senecapheles
was the name of it.
Yeah. Damn it.
So,
But yes, we're a legionnaire, a single legionnaire, fucking took advantage of an opening in the gap. And
Yep.
that's all it was.
Yeah, it was this massive battle where originally the phalanx was winning out, but the battle was on broken ground. So the phalanx had to react to broken ground. Not really something that the phalanx is known for being able to do. And the manipular form of the Roman army was able to immediately seize upon it, because it was a legionnaire. Went, holy shit, there's a gap here. Let's take my fucking cincture through this and do some good shit. So he just went into the gap, broke up shit. It was fantastic.
Dude, I used that for a job interview, and it worked.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of my presentation, where I was like, and thus the the broke point in the gap, or the gap in the line, was the favor of the less forces of the Romans. They're like, yeah, okay. So that's where you see yourself in 5 years. And I was like, yeah, I guess 100%.
I see myself leading a legion in order to capitalize on a weakness of the phalanx.
Hey, if it means that I get a nice plot of land in a good countryside, yes. 5 years down the line, yes. Let's do it. Oh, no.
But yeah, it was fascinating that was really the telling moment that caused the phalanx to fall out of fashion, until you end up with the late Renaissance into the post-Renaissance period of the halberd blocks.
Oh shit! Yeah, actually, it's a wonder that halberds are actually a unit that you would use against I don't want to say musket infantry, because they were like advanced arquebusiers.
I always have trouble with that word as well.
Yeah. Shot.
Arquebus.
Yeah, arquebus. Um, it's kind of the in between. So it was, but even still, I think they still used halberds during some of the Napoleonic battles. So it wasn't far out there. But it's interesting to see that they would actually still use these types of infantry. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, they were using that well into the colonial age, where they would have a block of pike or block of halberd in amongst the line infantry and the cavalry and the fucking artillery. It was ridiculous, but yeah, it was constantly used. And they were apparently absolute nightmares to deal with because when you have that many spears coming towards you, you don't want to go anywhere near that fucking thing. And if they closed onto a line of line infantry, well, that section of line infantry was just fucking dead.
yeah, it just
And if
kind of it goes to show how even after you've fired off a couple of volleys and these motherfuckers are still marching at you.
mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, you have a bayonet at the end of the musket. These guys have
Yeah.
giant fucking halberds and shit.
And it would just wreak havoc on any massed cavalry
Oh yeah, definitely.
because that's what they were designed to do. That
Well,
was their entire job. Fuck up
wasn't
cavalry.
wasn't okay, so now we're getting into the battle formations of, like, they had the Spaniard type where they had the pikes on the outer corners
Mm-hmm.
and the muskets on the inside, and then they had the cavalry on the out. Oh, okay, so now and then it was even different between French and German. I don't think I think England just kind of borrowed from both French and Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, and you'd have during the Napoleonic War, you had the massive French column
oh yeah, well yeah,
and
well
the
and then
absolute insanity of that.
but if you're going with Napoleonic tactics, didn't he utilize a lot of speedy maneuvers?
Yep. They learned from the various engagements with other cultures and having to deal with harrying units and how much of a bastard it was for them to hit you, run away before you're able to really group up. Then you try to give chase, they just keep running away. They're lighter, they're more mobile. You finally give up, they come back, they hit you again. And you're just constantly getting chipped away at by a much lighter, faster force. And they decided, fuck that, we're going to be the much lighter, faster force. We're going to
Damn.
hit fast, we're going to fade away, we're going to hit fast again.
See, I'm thinking back. It's like, oh man, that reminds me of this. That reminds me of this. And so it's like, okay, so yeah, the Mongols did it, the Huns did it, and
Mm-hmm.
you know who did it before all of these guys? The fucking sea people. Goddamn
Yeah.
sea people.
And you also had, shit, what was the. There's a term, and I'm trying to remember what it is, and it was used for that style of warfare during Rome because it was this one particular culture just kept on doing that. So the Romans used that culture's name as the term for the style of warfare where you just have fucking mounted archers ride up plink a bunch of arrows at your men and then fuck off, to ride up and plink a bunch of arrows back at your men the moment that your men turn around. And I'm
See,
trying to...
the only thing I'm thinking of is like Phoenician or Parthians or Scythians or somewhere up there in the around northeastern Turkish steppes.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which culture it was. But yeah, there was a culture that was really well known for that during the Roman era, where the Romans just got pissed off with them. Eventually, they were able to force them down and crushed their army. But then after that, they just kept on hiring those people as their light cavalry. Because they went, fuck it, we had a hell of a time dealing with them. They're now going to fuck with anyone that we deal with. And that just became their go-to strategy. And it was used during the Roman Civil War between Caesar and... why am I blanking on his name?
Pompey?
Yes, Pompey. It was the Pompeian forces versus the Caesarian forces.
Oh, yeah, then it's probably Scythians.
It might have been the Scythian Circle. Was that what it was? It was the something circle, where they would have their cavalry just ride in this massive circle around the force, plinking arrows, so that if you tried to move forward, well, they just continue riding around you in a circle, plinking you with arrows. If you tried to go backwards, just continue riding around you.
Well, that might be the attributed to the Parthians and the Parthian shot, where they'd be able to turn right around and still hit you while they're aiming backwards or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Bastards on their fast horses with light bows, just plinking.
That's how they ruled the territory, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it worked out for the Comanche when the horse was introduced out here in North America. So,
oh yeah, it's a strategy that returns time and again because it's an effective strategy. And the thing is that when you look at ancient war, up until firearms became a real big thing, you would see this constant damn near rock, paper, scissors of you'd have one force pop up, and they were really big into heavy infantry. And they would just be this massive armored block of fuck you. And then someone would come up with this extremely mobile, ranged formation that would fuck with the blocks of fuck you. Then someone would come up with an extremely fast-moving formation that was close up rather than ranged that would fuck with the ranged fuck you. And then once again, you get the heavy infantry come in, because how do you counter light infantry and light forces? You counter them with fucking armored sons of bitches. So it's this constant circle of, oh, this is how this group came to power. This is how the group that toppled them ended up functioning. And it wasn't until Rome, because of their ridiculous ability to maintain order in their forces, that it became, the Roman method became the method. And the same thing kind of happened with England, because you had the French with their massive columns that just fucked everything up during the Napoleonic Wars. And then what happened? The thin fucking red line, which other cultures had tried and failed time and time again. But the Brits were able to maintain the order sufficient to have the thin red line work.
The fucking Brits, man.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was watching a video on languages, or at least accents, on the British Isle, and how like the different areas coalesce, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, learning the difference between the P Celtic, the Q Celtic, the Anglo, and then the Norman.
Yep. And uh but uh East England and Welsh and
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, yeah, it's fascinating, to say the
The
least.
Brythonic Celts versus the Goidelic Celts.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's for you to say when they gripe about the Yanks in their dialects. So,
Mm-hmm.
oh, did they? Oh shit. Um, so have you been keeping tabs on what's going on in the world around us?
Bits and pieces, and all of it is absolutely fucking insane still. Because there's the speech that Biden did yesterday. Did you listen to any of that?
Parts of it.
Which, as Camel pointed out, who the fuck decided to do it at the time that they did when half of the country was still in work and the other half was clocked out? If you're going to do a speech from the president, it should be at that point where pretty much everyone is out of work. So you start at like 6 California, 10 Eastern. That way everyone could listen in rather than starting at 6 Eastern, 5 Central, fucking 4 Mountain, and 3 California, the Pacific Standard.
Yeah, it was
Because,
it was really weird. The whole thing was weird.
So, how much did you listen to it? And do you have any golden bits of what the fuck?
Well, okay, so I listened to a few bits here and there, but the bad thing is a lot of what he said, it was just jarbled shit.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same end, it was like, why are you saying this?
Well, the
Like,
man's brain is melting.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, we were there a while ago. Did you see when he popped into the? I think his wife was working with a bunch of people to sign a document, and he popped in and he's like, "Hey, whatever she says, I agree." And he pops. It's like, I mean, I know that's probably a jovial type of gesture, but
It's still a what the
it
fuck?
they're it's they wouldn't have done that otherwise.
Yeah.
Like, it's, oh no, that's
The thing that still, I don't know how people were able to vote for the man after he did the. I learned a lot about roaches that summer, and I learned a lot about kids jumping on my lap. And I love kids jumping on my lap. That is a what the fuck did you just say? Did anyone just listen to you say that? What the hell is going on? I felt like I was crazy when everyone else was just going, yeah. What? And I'm going, he said he learned a lot about roaches and he learned a lot about kids jumping on his lap and he loves kids jumping on his lap. You don't find that fucking weird?
No, yeah. Well, I'm just surprised that they they actually agreed with having him speak at in Pennsylvania, and for some reason having the red lights behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are, oh, the Marines standing behind him. It's nothing. It's like, yeah, but it'd be one thing if it was like the Marines standing behind him. It was like a nice, peaceful looking background. But when it's
Mm-hmm.
red and he's standing at a podium and he's shaking his fists, and then yeah, it just looks
Oh,
bad.
or Palpatine-ish. Like he's about to say at any moment, I am the Senate.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting for it. There was somebody who put the Darth Vader theme to it. That's one thing. I was more laughing at the somebody had put it uh where Cobra takes over the White House, and it's like
Nice.
it's so crazy. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm. And it's just insane shit like that keeps on happening where you're going, who was in charge of this? Who decided this was a good idea?
Yes, and because I think we can all agree, Biden has no idea what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
He's just reading a script. He's just following cues. This dude is out of his rocker.
yeah. He hasn't known what's going on in at least like half a decade.
Hey, give me a second. I need to find a cable to plug my phone in. So
Copy that.
let me
So,
mute for a second.
yep. While you're doing that, how are you doing today, chat? And Cannibalistic Wizard is surprised that he hasn't seen a meme where the end of his speech is ended with people saying Zig Heil. Yeah, it is rather interesting that they constantly say, well, the other side are the fascists, and then you actually look at their imagery and you look at the shit that they do and you're going, what the fuck? Like, the thing that still drives me crazy is, well, the Republicans are trying to seize power. Okay, which side was it that loyalty tested the military and then had the military occupy the Capitol for an extended period of time before and then after they came to power? I think that was the Democrats, wasn't it? Yeah, it was the Democrats that did that shit. So how the fuck are people saying that, oh no, it was the Republicans were the ones that were really trying to overrun everything? No, no. They brought in the military that they loyalty tested before they brought them in. And only after doing all that did they ascend to the seats of power. That's fucked. And people should realize that's fucked right away. But people, for some fucking reason, don't realize that it's fucked. It confuses the ever living hell out of me. It should be obvious. But it just keeps on happening where they'll accuse the other side of doing shit. And then do exactly what they said the other side were doing. They'll say no one is above the law when it comes to the, pun intended, because it just fits too perfectly, trumped up charges that are currently going about. But they'll also say, well, Hillary shouldn't be investigated. Well, Hunter Biden shouldn't be investigated. Well, this person shouldn't be investigated. It's ridiculous that people are punishing Nancy Pelosi by going after her husband and what he did. No. If no one's above the law, investigate all these people. And if there's anything there, try these people. But they'll say no one's above the law when referring to a Republican, and then immediately bitch and moan and complain that people had the audacity of going, okay, well, this Democrat did something fucked up. Let's investigate it. No, you can't investigate that. That's just going after a political opponent. Fuck you. It pisses me off every time that it happens. Because it's not even like they're trying to hide it. It's not like they recognize being a hypocrite is a bad thing. They seem to revel in it currently. They will talk out of both sides of their face and enjoy doing so.
That's the thing that kind of puzzles me is, are they really doing it with intent, or are they doing it without knowing that they're doing it? They just are kind of riding the foam wave that everybody else is riding. You know, it's just like a weird, because I don't know. I guess I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, and that they're just really, they don't understand what they're doing. But at the same end, it's like, it's so oblivious at this point. Like, you have to be obtuse to not see what the fuck's going on at this point.
I would say at the very least, the Joe Schmo from Idaho that's saying this type of shit, they're just spotted. But when you look at the people originating these lines, I can't believe that the people originating these lines don't realize, wait, I was saying the exact opposite the last time that I was talking about this, because it benefited my side to say the opposite last time, and now it benefits my side to say this time. But there is a certain percent of the population that is just completely bought in, and they think that it's entirely different. Or they don't connect the two ideas at all. But again, the thought leaders, the people pushing it.
No, I don't know, because I can see those two, and then I can see a third one that pops up that just, I don't even care, because I'm waving my flag, and it's like, oh my god.
Yep.
Yes, wave the Mordo flag.
And again, thank you, Assassin6 and
shit, Assassins. Hi, chat. Wait, who's I missed a chat. Wait. So
all
I gotta
shilling the stream for us.
Oh. Okay, so we got next 6 minutes there. Hi S6. Cannibalistic Wizard. Yes. Kyberdam. How's it going, Kyberdam? Thank you for sharing the stream. Y'all are awesome. And everybody else who's watching and they ain't saying nothing, I love you too.
Yep.
Don't worry.
But yeah, it's just infuriating when you see people say two polar opposites without any sort of any sort of ping in their brain of, oh shit, I just said the exact opposite of what I said a half second ago. And I don't get how that works. It makes absolutely no sense to me. Because when I'm saying something, if I say something that is entirely contradictory, a split second later, especially, I'm going, wait, what the fuck did I just say? Probably the best example of this is, again, going back to that, I want to say it was CIA, it might have been FBI. It was one of the alphabets commercial for hiring, where it was the woman came forward and said, I'm a black woman of this, and she just started listing off all the demographics that she was. It was like black lesbian woman of this sort of religious background.
Wait, was this a recent commercial or?
It was a little bit ago, not terribly long, within the past year.
Oh, okay.
And she listed off all of these characteristics. And then, do you know what the very next sentence this woman uttered was?
What's that?
My existence is not a box-checking exercise.
Oh, wait. I think I remember that. Is that the Latina lady? I think it was. And she
There
was
was
like,
one with a Latino. There was one with a black woman. It happened
okay.
twice.
Holy shit, they're all over the place. I was going to say there's one who was like, and I'm pregnant and I'm currently giving birth to a baby. Yes, I'm giving this a commercial. And here we go. We're inclusive. Yeah, no, yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And it, again, was something that was just so fucking obvious. When you start off and the first minute of you speaking is you enumerating all the boxes you checked off, you don't get to then say, my existence is not a box-checking exercise. Bitch, you made it that. For the first minute, you talked nothing about except for what boxes you were checking. You don't get to say that your existence is not a box-checking exercise after spending over a minute checking all the boxes.
I think it could be distilled to into the classic rules for thee but not for me type of thing. Because that just reminds me of the She-Hulk shit that's going on where she's twerking, and for some reason people can't grasp that, you know, it's a goofy hypocrisy, and it's one of those things where it's like, dude, you're dealing with people who want to be able to bend reality to their whim for their own benefit, and I get at the end of it, it's power. They want power over you. If you push it right to the core of what the argument will be at the end of the day, they're gonna want to be able to tell you whatever they want for their own benefit, and it's I don't know, it's a weird thought to look at too. You don't want to think people to want to do this, but I don't know. Slippery slopes exist, I guess.
Yeah, and the slippery slope fallacy stops being a fallacy when every time that something happens, the next step starts being discussed. It's a slippery slope fallacy only when the slope that you're talking about doesn't happen. When it just constantly does, it isn't a fallacy, it's a fucking observation.
Yes. Or at least somebody has enough fortitude to put the foot down. And he's like, okay, we're good here. It's all right. It's all right at this point.
It's one of those things that just keeps on driving me up the fucking wall that, well, that's a slippery slope fallacy. Is it a slippery slope fallacy when what they said was going to be the next action was the next action? That doesn't seem like a fallacy to me.
It seems like just they told you the plan.
Yeah.
They said, "Hey, we're gonna do this." Nah, I don't think that's gonna happen. Oh shit, it happened.
Yeah, and one of the things that really pisses me off is it shouldn't be considered a slippery slope fallacy when someone's pointing out the argument that you're using for this right now can be used for other things. It's the reason why one of the arguments that I hate the most is the born this way argument. Because the born this way argument is so ridiculously fucked. Anyone can use the born this way argument. Damn near anyone can use it, which means it's a bad fucking argument. The argument should have never been born this way. The argument should have been it's two consenting adults. What the fuck do you care about what they do in their bedroom? That should have been the argument. The born this way, well, now pedophiles can go, well, I was born this way. Fuck you.
Well,
no.
Opening an avenue for that.
Yeah.
Although, hold on, and I guess this is a goofy stoner moment, but I was actually just watching an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it was about he got a gift for a kid, a sewing machine, and the kid really liked the sewing machine, and everybody was like, "Oh, why would you get him a sewing machine? He's not gay. He's gonna, be gay and all that." And it's like, the goofy part for I guess Leary was, well, he's pre-gay. He's gonna be gay, blah blah blah, because he likes sewing shit. It's like, well, he could just be a tailor or whatever. Who cares? Like he enjoys the craft of, working crafts. But it's one of those things where it's like he may not be gay. It just he may just enjoy crafting stuff, and then here we are going at it where it would be automatic. No, push him towards this, and it's like, well, why don't we just let him enjoy the art that he enjoys? That's what we should be at.
Yeah.
What I find funny is that at the end of it, he was gonna get him a violin, and I would say, hey, that's also a wonderful instrument to play too, because I don't know, you should play an instrument.
Yeah. If you have a chance to learn an instrument, it's cool to be able to learn an instrument. If you have that natural knack, fuck yeah, go for it.
Well, it helps you look at things differently in terms of how to read stuff, tempos and pitches and timing and so yeah, I would say that's it. But yeah, I don't know. I think I butchered it.
But yeah, the slippery slope is used way too much.
Yes.
Especially, like I said, when people are saying, well, the argument that you're using can be used for other things, that isn't a slippery slope. That's pointing out that you have a bad argument.
Yes. Yes, that's what I was trying to. May not have been anything more than just enjoys crafts. So it wasn't a slippery slope, but you have to acknowledge that there could be slippery slopes out there. Damn.
Yeah. When your argument is, well, they were born that way. Well, now you've just allowed pedophiles to say that they were born that way. You just allowed the people that are psychopathic to say, well, I was born this way. How can you judge me? Yeah, I killed someone, but I was born this way. Fuck you. Born this way isn't a good argument.
No.
two consenting adults, it doesn't end in death. That's a valid argument.
That's kind of a weird thing to be. Like you're born that way. Like Jeffrey Dahmer comes out. I was born this way.
Yeah. And I'm guessing Sketty Noodles is the way that you're referring to gummy worms?
Oh, I don't know. Sketty Noodles is the way I feel when I can't feel my legs,
Yeah, I feel like this is a hundreds of thousands thing.
Oh no, hundreds and thousands. Wait, hold on. Isn't that sprinkles?
Yes.
Shit. So are we talking about Australian terms or?
I was when I said that it sounds like a hundreds of thousands sort of situation.
Oh shit, hold on. I didn't see the chat.
So yeah, I'm guessing Sketty Noodles is gummy worms. And yeah, I think that it might be. Kids just love shoving interesting things in their mouth. And it gives them the ability to shove worms in their mouth.
What the hell?
Without being in trouble.
That's a thing? Why would you... Hold on. Why would you ever want... Dude, if I ever saw a kid shoving anything in his mouth, I'd smack it. Like, what the hell's wrong with you?
That's part of raising a child, is going, no, don't put that in your mouth. Stop.
Hold on. Because it goes along lines with the old George Carlin line. We used to waddle around in filth and shit, So I guess, to a degree, but damn, yeah, you don't need to eat mud.
Yeah.
People.
But part of raising... Okay, most of you guys call them sprinkles. Good. That means that most Australians are at least semi-civilized. It's just those weird barbarians calling them hundreds of thousands. Though I did have an admission of what hundreds of thousands was. That's the thing. The question when you hear hundreds of thousands is hundreds of thousands of what? An Australian told me hundreds of thousands of calories. That makes sense.
Hundreds of thousands of diabetes.
Yes. Okay, hundreds and thousands is just a brand. That makes far more sense.
Holy shit. Wait, it's an actual brand?
Yeah, hundreds of thousands is apparently a brand in Australia of sprinkles.
Oh, jeez.
Which makes more sense. And apparently cannibalistic meant spaghetti. Okay. Spaghetti people eat just because it's good. It's a textural thing.
What?
Spaghetti has a nice texture.
Well, hold on. Have you ever had that spaghetti plant?
Oh, the spaghetti squash?
Yeah, isn't it like inside it is like spaghetti noodles?
Yeah, you pop it open and you fork out the insides. And when you fork out the insides, they come out in kind of like spaghetti noodle form.
Oh. Have you made a dish on that?
Yeah, I've made spaghetti noodles or spaghetti squash many times. It's delicious.
I think I had it once.
It has a similar texture to spaghetti, not quite the same, but similar enough. And then it has kind of this earthy taste to it. It's rather lovely.
Damn. Yeah, it's not. Wait, do you think you could make that into a lasagna?
Nice diabetes joke.
Uh-oh.
Assassin.
Hold on. What did Assassin say?
Sugarfoots everywhere, all over the ground, absent their owners.
We don't call it Sugarfoot. We call it Cinnamon Feet. no.
But yeah, as to could you make a lasagna? Not so much a lasagna, but you could probably do a baked spaghetti.
Do you think? Oh, ooh, with spaghetti squash?
Yeah.
Squash spaghetti is what is it called exactly?
Spaghetti squash is the
Spaghetti squash.
type of squash that you're referring to,
Yeah.
where when you fork it out, it forks out as a bunch of noodle-like shapes.
And you could make a lasagna out of that?
You wouldn't be able to make a lasagna because lasagna has the long, wide noodles, but you could make a baked spaghetti with it. You just need to control the water because spaghetti squash has more water than standard noodles.
Oh shit! You know what? That reminds me. Actually, now that I got you here, Sanguine.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Next time we hang out, you prep up like night okay, so I saw it was meat pies, but they're um they look like the pies that you get like cherry pies or fruit pies or whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
Uh uh but they're medieval meat pies, right? What do you think about making a couple of these and next time we hang out?
I could do that.
Yeah?
Yeah. I could do meat pies. That's fairly easy. I've done a pork pie before, and the pork pie turned out delicious. And that was with a hot water pie coffin.
Would you be able to make the bread casing for it though?
That's what the coffin I just referred to was. It was a hot water
Oh.
crust coffin.
Ah.
And they turn out rather lovely. I did that before, and it was delicious.
What'd you put in it?
I did 3 sorts of pork in it. I did minced pork, I did bacon, and I did jowl bacon in it,
Ooh.
as well as mushroom, and I think I did some finely minced onion for flavor. And it just turned out delicious.
Yeah, I was watching a bit on medieval foods that would be brought about travelers and knights, and a lot of meat
Oh, I
pies.
think I know the channel that you're referring to. I can't remember the name of it, but I think I know it.
He's a knight, I should say. Um, I can't. Yeah, his like history channel or something like that.
Yep.
Not the history channel, but um,
Older dude, long hair.
yeah,
Yep.
and he actually has a stable and actual kits
Yep.
and um yeah, he was going over the foods that they would eat, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I bet you Sanguine could cook us up some of this stuff, and then like, because I was actually I just finished the last of the bread that you made.
Mm-hmm.
So so that's how I was as I was eating, I was watching. I was like, damn, Sanguine made this stuff. He could probably make some of these pies and stuff. I was like, how crazy would that be?
Oh, yeah, I
Because
can very easily make hot water crust pies.
oh man, could you wait? Is that stuff that you could make while we would be camping?
I would need. I could probably make it the first day of a camping trip if I had everything that I needed. So I would need my Dutch oven rather than just a skillet in order to do the baking. I'd need a metal trivet. I'd need a baking vessel, and then I could make it while camping, as long as I had all the ingredients.
Hmm.
And yeah, I agree with you, Cannibalistic Wizard. Carrots are meant to be eaten raw.
What? I missed it.
I hate cooked carrots, and apparently Cannibalistic Wizard also dislikes cooked carrots.
Oh shit! Yeah, okay. Hold on. Checking out the chat.
And mead? I'm not sure where the mead came from, but mead is delicious. Yeah, exactly, Cynic. You are exactly right. Cooked carrots become mushy little bits of fucking garbage. Fuck cooked carrots. Raw carrots have that nice crunch. They have that beautiful texture to them. They're satisfying to eat. Just do them with a little bit of dip or something like that. They're fucking amazing. Cook a carrot and you fucked up. You fucked up the moment you started cooking a carrot. The texture just goes to hell, and it is really off-putting. Parsnips can be cooked. Roast parsnips, those are rather good.
To be honest, if it's roasted, I'd probably eat it anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, roast parsnips, really good. Especially roast some parsnips in a bit of butter. Ooh. A little bit of garlic. That's good shit. But yeah, dip carrots in ranch, dip carrots in spinach, dip. There's a bunch of things that you can dip carrots in, and they taste delicious as long as they're raw. Just don't cook carrots. They fuck up the texture. It's terrible. Leave them be. At least that's my take on carrots. I really hate cooked carrots. I leave them out of shepherd's pie every time I make shepherd's pie. I leave them out of cottage pie every time I make cottage pie. Fuck cooked carrots. Eat your carrots raw. Have them with ranch. Have them with spinach dipping sauce. Have them with a shit ton of other dipping sauces. Just don't cook your fucking carrots.
Ooh. So what about carrot cake?
Not a fan. If I'm having cake, I want a really good chocolate cake most of the time. And really, one of the best cakes, in my opinion, is the Irish car bomb cake.
Oh, well, here's the thing. Do you think there's a cake you could prepare at a campsite?
Again, if I had my Dutch oven, a baking vessel, and a trivet, then absolutely I could.
Yeah, would it be like a hardtack type of cake?
Oh no, it would be a proper cake.
Oh, okay.
I could make, if I had all the ingredients and I had those three things that I said, the baking vessel, my Dutch oven, and a trivet, I could make Irish car bomb cake at a campsite.
I think you should write like as a side note um extra ingredients to bring in for Irish car bomb at campsite. Just in case we have a minions meetup next year or meetup next year because who knows, maybe certain weebs might join us.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows?
Yeah, with that, all I would need is I'd need the ingredients for Irish car bomb cake. I would So I'd need the Guinness beer. I'd need the ingredients for my chocolate cake. Then I'd need whiskey and really good bittersweet chocolate for the ganache with some butter. And then the frosting is butter, sugar, and Bailey's. And that I might have to make ahead of time just because it's might be difficult to get it to cream right for the frosting.
Well, everybody
But
needs
so long as
proper
it
timing
creamed
for their
right,
creamings.
yeah, so long as it creamed right, it would be fantastic.
Oh shit! Say Johnny Hellcat's in the chat.
Hello, Johnny. So, yes, never make an Irish car bomb cake in the UK. It has to get a different name. Though, I think that you should also avoid the nickname of the Troubles cake.
The Troubles cake.
Yeah, the Troubles is when the IRA was blowing shit up in the UK.
Oh.
Yeah, Irish car bomb is a reference to the Troubles. So it's just Bostonians decided that they would have a laugh. They made the Irish car. I think it was Bostonians. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive it was Bostonians. Made the Irish car bomb drink, and then they, due to that, the Irish car bomb cake was born.
Do we have a? Oh shit! Do we have a Boston crockpot drink?
We do not, at least not yet. Ireland, now's your opportunity. Make the Boston crockpot.
There you go. You can get one on us. Oh wow! It's not too soon. It's been a couple of years. You fuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Or have the Twin Towers shot. That works as well.
Well, yeah. I'm sure they got something for that.
I'd be surprised if no one had a Twin Towers shot.
What would they even put in it?
Let's see. What are the most New York?
Oh, okay, we don't have to
drinks. It would have to be effectively a Manhattan with something else added to it. Is there a Middle Eastern liquor? That sounds oxymoronic considering the take of Islam on alcohol, but is there a pre-Islamic Middle Eastern liquor? Because if so, then a Twin Towers would be that type of liquor mixed with a Manhattan. At least that's my take on what it would be.
Huh. I was going to say make like a Manhattan, and however you do the Irish car bomb, you do the same with something like
well, the Irish car bomb, the thing is that you have to drink it quick.
Don't they drop it into?
It's a shot of JMO, a shot of Bailey's, dropped into a pint of Guinness.
Yeah.
And you have to drink it quick because JMO will curdle. So,
well, hold on. I'm pretty sure if you're a Wisconsinite, you'd enjoy that curdling. Oh, you fucking Wisconsins.
I think even they will go, no, I don't want to have a squeaker shot.
No, I can't help myself. It's an Illinois thing, Illinoisy. But you know what? Son of a bitch, I will say. Please, Washington Island, accept me. let me live. Let me live
Adopt
out
him
there.
as one of your own.
Please take me. I want to live out there so bad. Oh, jeez. Okay, so back to reality.
Iraq. I
Yeah.
haven't heard of Iraq. Let me quickly look up what Iraq is.
Oh,
Apparently, Iraq is a Middle Eastern drink. Oh, so it's effectively anise flavored brandy?
ooh. I want to try some.
Because yeah, if it's grapes, raisins, or dates, then it would be a brandy, a raisin brandy, or a date brandy. As long as it has a high enough alcohol content. And then it's just flavored with anise.
Oh,
So a 911 or a Twin Towers shot, or Twin Towers drink rather, would
hold on.
be
Would it be a double
dropping
martini
in.
with one of these?
It would be dropping in at least a shot of Iraq with a Manhattan.
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. 20 years down the line, we've made you hazardous drink. I want to say martini, but probably won't be the proper say. There you go.
And it just took me all of a couple moments to come up with it. And Cannibalistic Wizard letting me know about the existence of Iraq. Because I have not heard of Iraq. Have you had it? Is it any good, by any chance, Cannibalistic?
We're gonna try it.
I'm willing to try fucking anything. When it comes to alcoholic beverages. Not poisons. I'm not willing to try poisons.
Come on, you gotta at least try it once, right?
Yeah,
Oof.
not willing to try
I know.
poisons. But an alcoholic beverage, I'll try anything that'll survive once.
Wait, Iraq is at what six next 6 minutes is saying is a Middle Eastern Jägermeister.
Well, because it's anise flavored, it would have that licoricey taste.
Not a fan of Jägermeister.
Ah.
Gotta say.
You would not be ordering a 911.
I will try it just to try it. Just I actually had a weird, I don't know, like midday dream. Somebody showed a picture of two different types of onion rings, and I was sitting there, was like, I'd probably like this one better. I don't know why, but I think this is the same thing. It's like one of those things where it's like, I know I don't like the taste of Jägermeister, but I would try one of these things just to say, yeah, dude, I tried a fucking.
I had a
911.
Twin Towers shot.
Yeah, I had a Twin Towers. Double playing.
And apparently, Iraq has a decent ABV. It is 40 to 63% ABV. And holy shit, there's moonshine versions of Iraq that are 95%.
Good God. Why don't they just get... So it's just alcohol with a pinch of anise.
Effectively.
They're like, hold on, we need flavoring. There you go. There you go.
Yep. 95% if homemade. Have a good one, 6. Yeah. That's the way that you would make a Twin Tower shot. And it works. The one thing that I think that they missed the plot on when it came to the Irish car bomb, though, is everything in the Irish car bomb is Irish. If you really wanted to be offensive, then you'd have to make it, rather than a Guinness, you would have had to make it like a English stout. That way it's couple Irish drinks that get tossed into an English stout or an English bitter or an English lager, something along those lines. That if you
So,
leave it alone too long, it curdles and makes everything terrible.
so they're doing it out of spite.
Well, that the Irish Car Bomb was a Bostonian drink because Bostonians were the ones who were funding the IRA to a ridiculous degree during the Troubles, including and not limited to Whitey Bulger deciding that he would send a shit ton of firearms to the IRA. So it was a bit of a thumb in the eye.
Look, he
But
had
they
a
didn't
bunch
thumb
of
it in the
extra
eye quite as
firearms.
much as they could.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things that, thinking about it, if you wanted to make it even more offensive, make it an English beer rather than an Irish beer. That way, it's two Irish things being dropped into an English thing, and if it isn't downed quick, it was fucking awful. So the reason why Bostonians were helping the IRA is Boston is well known for its Irish heritage, and a bunch of Bostonians took it upon themselves to support the IRA and Irish independence movements at the cost of Northern Ireland and the UK, of course. So they would send massive amounts of money to the IRA during the Troubles, allowing them to procure weapons, procure explosives, and do all this insane shit that the Troubles are known for. And it was due to a glorified image of the IRA, especially within Boston. And I think part of the reason why there is the glorified image of the IRA is you have to admit IRA songs are pretty fucking catchy.
Yeah.
I mean, the come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lanes of Kilashandra. It's fairly fucking catchy. And there's a bunch of songs like that. You had the one that I just sang, which is Come Out Your Black and Tans. Then you have a shit ton of other IRA ballads. You have the, Ballad of Michael Collins, which is in Eastern 1916 when Pews called them out. The men from the Dublin battalion roved out, and in the post office they nobly did show how a handful of heroes could outfight the foe. Which, again, fairly catchy. You had, of course, Tellura, another fairly standard song. There's a shit ton of songs that are all about the IRA that are really fucking catchy. So, really good PR for the IRA. Really shitty organization, the IRA. And I would argue that part of the reason why it was a really shitty organization was the assassination of Mike Collins. Are you familiar with who Mike Collins was by any chance, Adam?
The name sounds familiar, but I don't believe I'm too sure.
So, do you know anything about how Ireland became independent?
Very limited.
Okay, so
That's why, like, when you're talking about the IRA and all that, I have some understanding, but it's not. It's not like a cartoon view of it. I understand what was going on. but it's not a solidified view as much as I know, like other areas um, in terms of historical background. But yeah, no, please continue.
So when it comes to Ireland's independence, it was something that there were constant tries for Ireland independence, starting from the same fucking year that Strongbow ended up conquering Ireland, which is a thing that is depicted in the painting, the marriage of Aoife and Strongbow. Strongbow was a Norman knight that ended up getting hired on as a mercenary to help a Irish king deal with a bunch of other Irish kings, and he decided after helping out that king, fuck it, I might as well take over. So take over he did. Then you have, after that, bunch of different attempts of Irish independence from the Norman invaders, which then became the English invaders as time went on. And they were put down rather savagely, time and time again. You eventually get up to 1916, and there's a chap known as Pierce. And he was one of the major leaders of the Irish independence movement. And he, during 1916, on Easter Day, calls up the Dublin Battalion and takes over a post office. They march into the post office, they completely take it over, they end up fighting against the English who try to retake it. Eventually, they are shelled and subdued. When they are let out, pretty much everyone that was a major leader of the independence movement is executed except for 2 men. So Piers is executed. All the other major leaders of the independence movement are executed because all of them were part of the Dublin Battalion. There are 2 individuals who weren't. One of them was Eamon de Valera, who had, I think, tri-citizenship, because if I remember correctly, he had French citizenship, American citizenship, and Irish citizenship due to his parentage. Then the other one was not executed because no one knew who the fuck he was. And that was the man who was in charge of the intelligence for the liberation movement. And that was a man by the name of Michael Collins. No one knew who the fuck Michael Collins was because he disguised himself constantly. And he made sure that only those who he could absolutely trust knew what the fuck he looked like and who the fuck he was. So they had a name, they didn't have a face to the name. And he was also part of the Easter Rebellion. He was also captured, but no one knowing who the fuck he wasn't executed. So after that, Eamon de Valera ends up fleeing to France. That was part of the reason why he wasn't executed. The French demanded that he be released to them. So he went to France. And Mike Collins was turned out back into Ireland. Eamon de Valera then became the president of the movement, and Mike Collins maintained his position as the intelligence officer. He also then started planning more, and he was given his head when it came to planning. He was the one who undersaw all of the goings-ons in Dublin when it came to where they chose their targets, who they chose as their targets, and how they fought their wars. So what he started to do was, seeing how beneficial being secretive and unknown was, he tried to make sure that not just he was completely unknown, but all the members were completely unknown, save to a handful of people that they worked with. So he functionally put the liberation movement into a series of cells where the cells were connected, but only the people within each cell knew the people within each cell, or knew the people within their cell, rather. So he launched a bunch of attacks on the English as well as the people that were sympathetic to the English, that were part of the government at the time. And he turned a bunch of people to his side, did rather well in a guerrilla war. He eventually did so well, and it was so costly to the English to try to do something, that the English agreed to meet with Collins and other representatives of the Irish and negotiate a peace. So Collins let Dave Valera know. Dave Valera agreed to this. So Collins then agreed to it. And Collins explained what he believed would be the best deal that they could get out of the arrangement. Dave Valera initially agreed that that was probably the best that they could get. What Collins said was that they might well be able to get the potential for independence, but it is unlikely that they would be able to get independence right then and there. So he went, he negotiated, and he was able to get the best deal that he thought was possible. He was able to get an agreement that Ireland would be allowed to vote whether it wanted to separate. Unfortunately, this didn't allow Northern Ireland to separate with the rest of Ireland. But Northern Ireland didn't want to separate with the rest of Ireland. So that was a concession he was willing to make. When he got the deal that both he and De Valera originally agreed was the best deal that they could possibly get, De Valera then turned on Collins and was putting out word that Collins had betrayed the movement by not insisting upon freedom right then and there, and also by not insisting that Northern Ireland be freed at the same time as the rest of Ireland. So when he did that, it resulted in a shit ton of animus towards Mike Collins. He also then started kind of a civil war among the Irish liberation. So there were the De Valerite loyalists and there were the Collins loyalists. The Collins loyalists wanted Mike Collins to be in charge because he had led them to this much of a victory, and they believed that he could lead them further. Collins stated time and time again he did not want leadership. He had sworn allegiance to the movement and sworn allegiance to De Valera as the president of the movement. He was not interested in becoming a leader himself, or the leader himself. De Valera didn't believe this. De Valera then effectively plotted against him, caused a schism within the movement, and that resulted in the assassination of Mike Collins. So the man who actually did the groundwork in order to get to the point where Ireland could become free was assassinated by the president of the movement that set out to make Ireland free. And eventually De Valera came to his senses, realized that he had done something horrendous, and apologized profusely, but that is a little late, given that Mike Collins was already dead and buried by that time. So a lot of the shit that happened when it came to the IRA was post Mike Collins and post his leadership of the militant wing of the Irish Liberation Front. So that is why I'm saying that I think a fair chunk of that can probably be placed at the feet of the assassination of Mike Collins. There is a movie about this, by the way, which stars Liam Neeson as Mike Collins, because Liam Neeson is a fucking giant, as was Michael Collins. But yeah, it was... That's why I'm saying that. And it's a fairly interesting period of time if you look into it. There's just so much shit that popped up around it where you're going, oh, for fuck's sake. Because it is just absolute shit. Everything that happened around it, where it is someone who is rather capable and tried to prevent civilian casualty as much as he possibly could, was then assassinated and replaced by bloodthirsty bastards that didn't fucking care. And that was where the Troubles ended up coming in. The Troubles were a bunch of bloodthirsty bastards. For fuck's sake, they blew up a school. And they didn't just blow up one school, they routinely did shit like that. And they planted pipe bombs in public places. Just maximize damage versus everyone. But again, they had fucking fantastic songs. And you've been quiet for a bit, Adam. Have you just been listening into the story? And I think Adam zonked out. So, given that, I'm going to mute up that mic. That way we don't hear the snoring. But I think this is a fairly decent point to sign off for the night as well. We're just shy of 2 hours. But I've been rambling a fair bit of that. And I don't want to bore the piss out of you too much. So unless you guys have any objection, you lot in chat. Oh, and by the way, the bread and water was a reference to Hospitality Shady, not necessarily to either of us. Though, if it were to either of us, clearly with my penchant for showing up with a box of booze and bread, I would be bread. But, and God damn it, that is going to be clipped at some point by someone. Fuck. Okay, so I think I'll leave off the stream here, and I'll leave off with my standard of, if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. And with that, have a good night all. The zoo is closed. And of course, as I do that, my fucking internet craps out for a second. So now that I'm back, now, have a good night all. The zoo is closed.